Hello everyone, it's Jamarl Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. I hope everyone is doing all right this morning. It is a rainy day in Kenya. We're just getting back. I'm drenched, and yet I kind of want to do the news right now. And before I start, if you guys enjoy the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe. You can always support the content through Patreon, even if it's $1. As my wife likes to tell me, even $1 helps. Liverpool, England, UK, they are having some kind of labor conference. Now, at this labor conference, there have been a few things talked about, Brexit being probably one of the main highlight ones. One of the ones that's just as much, if not more so interesting to me, was something that I didn't know was going to be slated, but something that was brought out to what I would consider to be magnificent force. The Labour Party under Jeremy Corbyn is talking about democratizing the workforce. John McDonnell, the shadow, you can call him finance spokesperson for the UK Labour Party. You can say he's, in their country they call it shadow, meaning this person is, if the government came into force, this person would be in this particular responsibility. And so he's shadowing the lead or the person who's in charge or the person who's in government. He's in opposition, so he's not necessarily in power yet. But they're platforming their plans, what they want to bring forth in the UK. It is mind-blowing, mind-blowingly obvious, mind-blowingly rational. If you're talking about representing the 99%, or if you are a part of the 99%. And it is something that should take place here. It is something that Richard Wolff talks about, and it is something that is just right in and of itself. Democratization of the workforce. If you are the top 1%, I can totally see you being against it. If you are the 99%, this makes all the sense in the world. Most people, when they go to work, they are told what to do, what to produce. They're told when to come, when to leave, and at the end of that workday, all of the things that they bought to force, meaning their labor, goes to the person who owns the company, that top 1%, that owner. This is a totalitarian system, meaning everything that you do is essentially told to you to do, as opposed to you have an agency within the job itself. These repetitive, robotic jobs in which people go in, do something, and leave. What if it's not that way? Meaning, what if you have more say-so, more agency in regards to your job? What if you got more pay? What if? Now, these aren't things that the Democratic Party in the United States talked about. It is stuff that Richard Wolff talks about when he's talking about democratization of the workforce. And it is what the Labour Party under Jeremy Corbyn is talking about. A massive expansion of worker cooperatives, and for the places that are already owned, an expansion of, you could say, a percentage of the company belonging to the workers. If I'm not mistaken, I think they said 30%. I'm going to let John McDonnell, I keep calling the man John McDonnell. Oh, it is good. I'm going to let John McDonnell explain this. Don't take it from my words, take it from his. Jeremy Corbyn gave a keynote speech today, and I'm going to pull up Jeremy Corbyn's speech at the end of this video, so that's going to be a secondary video. But I'm going to let John McDonnell explain part of this. And this is a mind-blowing speech because of what Labour wants to accomplish. And God, it will make all the sense in the world for this to take effect. Jeremy fucking Corbyn. Let's take a listen to McDonnell and what Labour wants to accomplish. Let's see this.
So in 2018, I tell you that at the heart of our programme is the greatest extension of economic democratic rights that this country has ever seen. And it starts in the workplace. It's undeniable now that the balance of power at work has been tipped against the worker. The result is long hours, low productivity, low pay, and the insecurity of 0 hours contracts. So I want you all to be certain. I want the country to be certain. We will redress the balance of power at work. First, we'll be proud to fulfill our late leader's promise, John Smith's promise, that workers will have trade union rights from day one, whether in full-time, part-time, or temporary work. Day one. We will lift people out of poverty. We'll lift them out of poverty by setting a real living wage of £10 an hour when we go back into government.
It goes beyond that. Let's keep going. This right here.
It isn't complex. It's simple.
Right here.
Ours will only become an economy for the many if we significantly broaden ownership. That means, yes, supporting entrepreneurs, small businesses, the genuinely self-employed, and massively expanding worker control and the cooperative sector on a scale we've never seen before in this country. You know, building an economy for the many also means bringing ownership and control of the utilities and key services into the hands of the people who use them and work in them. So yes, I want people to have no doubt.
Before he gets to that part, let's be clear what he's saying. I mean, they're being pretty explicit here when he's making this point. But at the end of the day, what he's saying is we're going to massively expand worker cooperatives, meaning workers themselves owning the company. No elites, workers themselves owning the companies, and we, under the guidelines of state, with the force of state, will expand worker cooperatives. That's magnificent news for the standpoint of workers themselves who are working in companies where they want more agency. Now, this, you must understand, the worker cooperatives thing makes all the sense in the world to me. It's like, why would you? It puts me in the mind of kings and queens, where people thought kings and queens were necessary. I feel the same way about CEOs in the top 1%. They are unnecessary aspects of the company. They're expropriating labor, expropriating wealth to the top. These guys are talking about going in office and taking their heads off, or at the very least, stopping them from propagating in the way that they propagate it and massively expand this idea of working, controlling the means of production. I love this. They go further. Not just worker owning the means of production, not just making sure that labor or people are supported by unions from the day they take work, meaning for the day they take, I couldn't tell if the day they start work or the day these guys take office, or if it's a combination of both. Either way, you can get across this unabashed position of standing up for labor. Like, if you live in Britain, maybe this is not all that uncommon for you. If you're in the United States, this is a mind-blowing platform. They go further. They go further. They go further. Let's keep going. Listen to this part.
Rail, water, energy, Royal Mail, we're taking them back.
They get a standing ovation. They get a standing ovation. Yes! They're taking back rail, mail, and electricity. And why not? These are things that are vital for people to live off. And not just vital for people to live. If you don't have those things, you don't necessarily have a life. It's just kind of like, you have cancer, pay me. You need electricity, pay me. Why on earth, when you as a society come together and say, hey, we're going to provide the basic necessities of life, and of those necessities, electricity, communications are part of those things. And labor is coming out saying, we are taking those things back. They are coming once again under public control. You will no longer be gouged and pinched for prices in this idea of private enterprise. I love this speech. I completely love this speech. I'm going to pull up Jeremy Corbyn's speech immediately after this one because I want to hear it. I haven't had a chance to hear it yet. And I will be doing a video immediately after that speech. Let's see who's here. But I love this. This was an amazing speech and an extremely strong speech by Labour. Extremely strong speech by Labour. All right. This is a good morning. People dismiss unions here by saying that they're corrupt. I've had the propaganda in various texts. Yeah, people may want to dismiss unions here, but by the same token, their wages are flat. And unions, as not perfect as they are, has been the thing that has organized labor. Now, unions, the problem with unions is they continue the stress point, meaning this conflict between the top 1% and the elite or executive class taking the resources for themselves in this kind of self-interested way versus labor, who is also trying to get resources for themselves. Now, worker co-ops decapitates that process because you get rid of the elite and you just have the workers running the company itself. This makes more sense. The unions are an imperfect solution, but they assist in the process. And without them, you've allowed the executive branch to run amok without having any organization of labor. Whatever you want to call them, you want to call them corrupt if that's what you want to do, but you're acting as if the top 1% isn't corrupt. Like, that's somewhat of a nonsense argument. And I'm going after labor for that. Oh, come on. We've proven that privatization has worked here. Just ask my $300 electric bill that I got in Massachusetts during the coldest winter. No way they gouged me. It was delivery services, right? They're gouging you because you need the electricity. They can up the rate of the electricity because you need the electricity. What are you going to do? Go without it? Yeah, you are being gouged. It makes all the sense in the world to bring public utilities under public control. That makes all the sense in the world. They can't nationalize railroad electricity if they stay inside the EU, since they have not rejected the second referendum. How can you articulate both? Bernard Madoff. Which is why they're going out of the EU, which is why George Galloway wants Britain out of the EU. Which is why they want them out of the EU. That when I keep making this point of, if Jeremy Corbyn can't enact what he wants, then they should be out of the EU. I don't think I've hedged on that. I've continuously asked this question of, can Jeremy Corbyn articulate what he wants to do for labor inside the EU? And if the answer is no, then they need to be outside the EU and Britain needs to be able to stand on its own. Just saying. Just saying. All right, I'm not going to keep this one long. I'll end this one here. If you guys enjoy the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe. You can always support through Patreon. Fucking A, labor in the UK. Good job. Labour bringing it home at the Liverpool conference. Thanks, guys.